السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. مع حضراتكم دكتور رضا. إن شاء الله سنقوم بشرح الكلاس 3 من مادة المحاسبة الحكومية للفرقة الرابعة شعبة جمارك، شعبة اللغة الإنجليزية. Governmental Accounting Class 3. Hello everyone. شرحنا في المحاضرة اللي فاتت إيه هي أنواع الإيرادات الحكومية، وقلنا باختصار شديد جدا ان الايرادات الحكوميه لها 4 انواع. قلنا ان في اولهم النوع الاولاني the first type is known revenue, which means that this revenue is known. So what's the meaning of known? Known means that the revenue has number of item, like for example revenue item 1, revenue item 2. Item 1 for example means tax. So we know that this revenue is including on tax or part of tax, or part of gains, or part of productions or governmental productions. So it's known. Revenues from unknown resources. Unknown means that we don't know this revenue will be under each item. So we call it unknown, and we plug it in a new account called revenue under settlements. The third one, so when my government unit collects some money for another government unit, we call it money for other governmental units. So and we give it account called creditors under settlement. Notice that we call it creditors. That means that you money owe to someone, so we call it creditors. So as last one called temporary security, which mean very liquid financial paper that we can transfer it to cash very quick. So we have 4 categories of revenues: revenues item known, revenues under settlement, creditors under settlement, temporary security. And we know also, we discussed last class or previous class, that we have 3 tools to collect these revenues. That if we collect cash, if we collect checks, if we collect postal order. And also we differentiate between general treasury and subsidiary treasury. And we said the main point that the general treasury can collect money for the government and collect money for other governments units. So but subsidiary treasury just collecting revenue for their own governmental unit, not for other governmental unit. So again, general treasury can collect revenues from their own governmental unit and for other governmental units, but subsidiary treasury should collect or can collect from their own governmental unit only. We started with cash, and we said that we do our journal entry as a treasury in debit side, which is increase. ايوه التريجري الخزنه زادت في الحساب بتاعي، وبرضو الايرادات زادت في الحساب بتاعي. As we know, treasury is a debit side in nature, so when it's increase it will be at the same with nature, so it will be debit. النقديه او الخزينه مدينه بطبيعتها، فلما هتزيد هتيجي في نفس الجانب بتاع الزياده اللي هو الجانب المدين، اللي هو نفس جانب الطبيعه. نفس الكلام الريفينيوز ان نيتشر ان كريدت، يبقى الدائن الايرادات دائنه في طبيعتها. So when it increases, so it will be in credit side as a nature side. وقلنا الثلاث انواع اللي قدام حضراتكم اهو، الاربع انواع اللي احنا قلناهم: الايتم النون، السيتلمنت، الكريديتورز ان سيتلمنت، والتمبوراري سيكيورتي. طب we will just take another case if this unknown revenue become known. So what should we do? What should we record? In this case, we close revenue under settlement from up there, here, from up, like this arrow indicates. So we take revenue under settlement and close it in the debit side and open known revenue item in the credit side. So when we complete another case, so first one when you collect the revenues, second case if the unknown revenue become known, what will happen? We will close revenues under settlement in the debit side and open new revenue item as a known side. And the same thing when you paid the money to the other unit, another governmental unit, what should we record? Fine, we will close creditors under settlement. The same thing, close means put it in the debit side from credit side. As we know, it's in the first step, it was in the credit side. When we close it in this step, we put it in the debit side and close it. So creditors under settlement in the debit side, and now in this case you pay. Pay means that you will pay check, credit, treasury decrease, postal order as a credit side. Last step, that you will put this money in the central bank as a governmental unit. So you will put this money in the central bank, so your account as a governmental unit will increase in the central bank. So it's in debit, central bank increase, your account increase in the central bank, so in debit, and treasury will decrease because you will take this money from treasury and send it to central bank. So treasury الخزنة قلت جت في الداين وحسابك في البنك المركزي زاد جه في البديل. Central bank in debit side and treasury in credit side. لما نشوف كمان الكاش collection by subsidiary treasury. A difference. First step cash under settlement. The first difference for general treasury, we call it treasury or we call it cash, but here we recorded cash under settlement, and also just 3 items. Why? Revenue item as known, revenue under settlement as unknown, temporary security. Where is the last one? As we call it creditors under settlement, will never record in this case. Why? Because subsidiary treasury cannot collect money for other governmental units, so we will not see any creditors under settlement in this case for subsidiary. Second step in this sub treasury recording for revenues, we will see that we deposit this money after to the central bank or for debtors under settlement. What's the meaning of this case? Why we wrote 2 items or 2 accounts in the debit side? Cash under settlement, we know that we close it, but why debtors? Why central bank? In this case we have عندنا خزنة فرعية، وبالتالي ممكن تورد للخزينة العامة وممكن تورد للسنترال بانك. So if you deposit this money in general treasury, we will wrote it debtors under settlement, and if you deposit this money in central bank, we will write it central bank. For example, we have government M, general treasury. General treasury means that we will have all categories of revenues, and also we will deposit this money central bank given. So we know we have now 70, 40, 10 temporary security and 14 for tax, and we have 52,000 in our general treasury, and the limit is 18. So in this case we have first step, we need to record the collection revenues. So we said treasury as the debit side 70,000, we have revenue item, we have revenue under settlement, we have creditors, we have temporary security, 40, 14, 10. So the total 6,000 to complete the credit side to be equal to the debit side as 70,000. If we know that the unknown revenue become known, so in this case we will put 6,000 from revenue under settlement to revenue item 2. What about the balance? If we know that we have 52,000 balance and we must keep 18,000, just 18,000 in our general treasury. So in this case we have to deposit $34,000 to central bank, and only central bank, because this is general treasury, so central bank to treasury with 35,000. Same thing, governmental unit X, which has a treasury, collected 15,000 cash with 8,000 for revenue item 6, 5,000 final security, and the rest is undermined revenue, required job entry. And if we know that the revenue item B2 and the money deposit to the. لما نشوف كمان الكاش collection by subsidiary treasury. A difference. First step cash under settlement. The first difference for general treasury, we call it treasury or we call it cash, but here we recorded cash under settlement, and also just 3 items. Why? Revenue item as known, revenue under settlement as unknown, temporary security. Where is the last one? As we call it creditors under settlement, will never record in this case. Why? Because settlement. Collection by checks, same thing. I will not add anything, just we will exclude or نحذف cash under settlement or treasury in general and sub, and we will put check under collection, checks under collection, and we have 4 items in this case. 4 items is normal. And also if the unknown revenue become known, the same thing, will close revenue under settlement and open revenue item and put the item. If this cash accepted or collected, very easy, we will close cash under settlement and put central bank. اتمنى تكون المحاضرة مفيدة لحضراتكم وبالنجاح ان شاء الله. Goodbye.